Hello, beauty-filled world. Shae Bryant here with you. I am Sovereign Shae. Today is Tuesday, March the 3rd, and this is officially episode 7 of I Am Sovereign Shae. And I want to start off that I am safe, and I'm just a little behind schedule, checking in with a lot of people that I know and love and think about that live in Nashville. So Nashville, Tennessee had a big hurricane and storms through the night, and at least the total that I'm aware of is that 7 people lost their lives, and then many people lost their homes and belongings. So sending prayers and possibly also assistance to people in the Nashville area. But I am safe and immensely thankful for that. And just tuning in, today I would say that I feel kind of like wild and tired, both. So if you were tuning in and feeling that, you know, with something like a hurricane or a tornado or anything that involves a lot of that wind moving through, that can produce a lot of feelings of unsteadiness or, you know, unease, and that's very normal. So the weather is kind of has that feeling, and today just has that feeling for me. And as well, I'll just go ahead and mention that on this Thursday, so 2 days from today, I get on a plane and I take a very sacred journey to Egypt. So this will be my second holy pilgrimage to this sacred portal and place on this planet that I am having the privilege, so many P's there, to visit. And so that is this Thursday. So I know that I'm also feeling a little, let's say, off kilter, because I'm already really dreaming ahead into this ancient future of Egypt and what it is. And I look forward to sharing more with you guys. I know that every time I mention Egypt, so many people resonate with it. I think the kid in us that first studied it, that first heard about it, all the way to the adult in us that always still wants to be like an anthropologist or Indiana Jones, even better, you know? And he probably ruined it for all of us, or actually maybe really sparked it in all of us, yeah? So my own grandmother was a traveler, a world traveler, and she really put that within me. So I have a few people to blame for my travel, I don't want to say addiction, but honoring and love. I'm also a Sagittarius, so any of you that are Sagittarius, that is a common trait of ours, is that we love to travel. And of course, I live an alternate lifestyle, you could say. I like to think of it as a self-disciple lifestyle. Not self as in my ego self and Shae self, but self as in following the call of my soul, that's what I was birthed for in this incarnation. I am not reproducing children. It is instead, of course, I have some cat babies, but my assignment, as might yours be, and you can have multiple assignments, right? Mine is this. It's to take pilgrimage. It's to give voice where there is none. It is to look within and then also lead others in doing the same. So we all have different assignments. And so many of you might be feeling the call, even while living your current assignment, you know, I need to shift in these other ways. I need to expand, or I need to grow, or I need to study in new ways. And, you know, that's the time in the portal that we're in right now. We're in 2020, and these are immense times of change, and we need a shift. And so that's what this show is about, is creating that shift, what I call to sovereignty, to presence, where we can actually create change in and of ourselves so that we can create that change in the world. And that's part of why I travel, so that I change immensely from travel. And then wherever you are, you know, you don't have to change your job, you don't have to move somewhere, you don't have to take a pilgrimage somewhere to become the change and then enact the change by just being an example wherever you are at. So it's truly a grassroots movement that I believe all of us that are awakening from thought and awakening to heart, that's a collective assignment. And so for those of you that are hearing the call to awaken to your heart and to become the change that you want in the world, And under these times, it feels very unsovereign or impossible to remain sovereign or become sovereign in these times, where, of course, we're not seeing sovereignty, we're not seeing presence, we're not seeing people go within, we're not seeing compassion lead the way. So it can be very disheartening. But remember that the assignment is still to each of us. So you don't get off the hook. Just because no one else is doing the assignment doesn't mean that you're free of it. Your responsibility is still to awaken, even if others do not. Your assignment is still to bring the love, even if ain't nobody else speaking that way. Your assignment, especially if you have the guts, is to speak to love. It is to speak to truth. It is to live by compassion as an example, despite the mockery that you might receive, despite the lack of support that your friends might give you, right? It's radical to actually, awaken, have the guts and the bravery to continue an awakening practice, to want to awaken to heart, to want to awaken from judgment and ego. So that, number one, but then to take it into the world and to live by example. That's who I'm talking to with these shows. And that's who I know a lot of you have within you wanting to come out. And dear God, don't we desperately need this? I mean, yes, look at the times that we are in. We desperately need spiritual sovereignty. And the more the times are crazy, so I'll just go back to me as an example. So I am traveling to Egypt this Thursday. And I don't know if you've ever been to Egypt, or maybe you've been to India. I've been to India 5 times. And Egypt and India offer the same lesson, humbling lesson. And I talked about this in the last show, episode 6, that there are these certain ways that you can be thrown off sovereignty. And one is the illusion that you have control. Right? You ain't got control of the situation, of other people, of life itself, right? We have very little control. And so we need to make sure that we're focusing on where we do have control if we want to enact any control. Where do we have control? Honestly, realistically, we only have control within ourselves. And maybe not even that, right? We have control over which thought we choose to believe, over which perspective we try on. Just because our TV says something to us doesn't mean we have to believe it. Now, if we go ahead and just swallow everything we're told, that's called being brainwashed. That's called being a sheep. That's also what leads to a very fearful existence, because you're being told fear, right? You're being sold nightmares. So to wake up and to make a decision for yourself, you have to have a little bit of space. You have to recognize, where am I? Whoa, where did I jump over the fence? And where am I trying to control things that I have no control over? So, Egypt, coming up. Big time help in every single second for me to recognize how little I have control over. I don't have control over the airplane. I don't have control over the shuttle bus. I don't have control over the traffic in Cairo. I don't have control. But where do I have control? In any moment. This is what I will focus on the entire time I am in Egypt. It will require that I do so if I want to remain sovereign and present, so I can be the medicine and bring the medicine and derive the medicine from these places that I'm going to be at. So in episode 6, I talked about these cords that keep you connected to the ego and to falsity and control, your desire to have control being one of them. Another one that can really throw us off is safety and security. That, wow, right? Profound desire, overwhelming desire to seek safety and security. Am I safe? Am I safe? I don't want to die. I don't want to die. And of course we don't want to die, but we're going to die. So in many spiritual traditions, this is not about being apathetic. This is not about being morbid. This is about being realistic and, in fact, living far more joyfully because you're being realistic. Recognizing you are going to die and you don't know when and you don't know how, but you could even right now work on how. I want to be very, very present so that I'm present even for my death. So that I'm not deluding myself into death thoughts while I'm alive. I want to spend every single moment I have fully alive and present and not dead to the moment. So using the inevitable truth of our death as a spiritual practice to stay and find and derive the vibrancy and life of this moment. So for example, any fear thought I have, I know your TV is feeding you tons of them right now about the coronavirus, for example, and I'm filling in the blank with Egypt. Fill in your blank. You could do this on any subject, right? These are just fear subjects. And so noticing, where are we seeking a sense of safety and security where in truth there might not be, in the sense that, well, we are all going to die. So I need to make sure that I'm keeping that context. I need to be realistic with myself. This is not about being morbid. This is about not being controlled by fear. This is very different. So for example, this has to happen with me every time I get on an airplane. I don't know about you, but an airplane really reminds me two things. I'm not in control, and it reminds me that I am going to die. Now, I'm hoping it's not in that moment, and I personally make sure and practice no fear thoughts. If I have any thoughts, it's about arriving at my destination. I envision and only use my thinking and imagination for what I want to happen. This has been decades of training. So I don't spend any of my time, because I believe that what you think about, you attract, because that's called science. Like attracts like. And if you think one thought, you're going to attract another similar thought. So I spend no time when I'm traveling or in the airplane thinking about the airplane crashing. But just recognizing that being even in an airplane, it almost makes me laugh. I'm actually able to release the illusion, delusion, all the illusions, illusion of control that I don't have. Right? And actually taking that breath of freedom that, oh yeah, I don't have control. But you know where I do have control? Of this moment, and how fully vibrant, alive I can be if I'm present. That's called being alive. Sitting here and being afraid, thinking of thoughts of the future possible death, that's not being alive. It's being a victim of your own mind. And right now, your TV might be doing that to you. Okay, so I'm going back to episode 6. I was mentioning things that can throw you off of sovereignty, out of presence, the illusion of control. We have control of our own mind and perspective, or do we, right? That's the only control we got. Also, the illusion of safety and security, where really there is none. What am I safe and secure in? Myself in this moment, my level of consciousness and connection. That's true safety and security. And there's one more. And that's that feeling within us of really needing acceptance from the group. And that the group is, not banishing us, that the group completely accepts us. So I'm referring all this to my upcoming trip to Egypt, which is on this Thursday. And so, of course, something as wild and crazy as traveling to Egypt and what I personally study and what I personally do, like, videos like this on Facebook, could all be considered alternative or out there or different or woo-woo or whatever anyone's judgment or interpretation or perspective is of me. I'm not in any control or in charge of somebody else's perspective. However, remember, this is one of those cords that keeps us caught in our ego, is when we do become concerned about other people's thoughts. We're looking at, right now, can we even look and see our own thoughts? Can we even control our own thoughts? So then the hilarious illusion of trying to control somebody else's thoughts. How impossible. And good news, in today's age, we are less likely to be banished from the group. So by being different, by being a living example of an alternative lifestyle, of a different perspective, of removing yourself from the group of sheep and saying, hey, there's a different way of living, in today's day and age, you're less likely to get stoned and banished. And so I invite you to come out and dance, because you are currently free to do so. And while there is freedom to do so, it is time to dance, and it is time to share teachings that are alternative and experiences that you have within yourself, because you yourself are your highest authority. And going within to the temple of yourself and doing the work within yourself, that experience is what can contribute to you opening your voice. So, noticing these chords within us that can throw us off sovereignty, and just expressing my own upcoming experience of going to Egypt and how I will utilize this. Egypt, for example, will require that I remain present in order to remain safe, in order to remain connected and in control of myself. I must remain present. And I look forward to that, and I look forward to sharing when I come back, what I get from these places and what I experienced in this holy land. I feel so blessed, so just sending gratitude for this upcoming experience. I leave this Thursday, and I will be back right after the equinox. This year it is on March 19th. There's like a window around the equinox, so I personally am going to be back in the U.S. on March 22nd. So the I Am Sovereign Shae show is going to be suspended in my absence. I will be hiring an assistant upon my return, and then I can keep these things going. But right now I'm a one-man show. So we're going to be, since Egypt does not have internet most of the time, I will not be able to post for you guys. I will if I get the opportunity. But otherwise, I Am Sovereign Shae will return the last week of March when I return. And I just want to remind everybody that I have some really awesome things in this spring coming up. And I'm so excited for them. Upon my return, I'm going to be so pumped and so ready to connect to you guys and with you guys through these options. So on April 1st, I have the Sovereign Shift, which is a 7-week online course. And it's small, it's succinct, and it's the most powerful way I could teach the things that I have used to heal and shift. So many of you know I had anorexia nervosa, I had bulimia, horrible depression, I've had suicide attempts, I've had addiction issues, so I've had many of the stories that you might have had. So this 7-week course is a really condensed, powerful, affordable, easy to use way that will last forever. These teachings are forever, that you can always implement. So my goal was to kind of put it into a little package that would enact the shift that you're looking for, to heal on some of those subjects I just mentioned in a way that perhaps you haven't normally been taught. So thesovereignshift.com. It's only $111, and it starts April 1st. So thesovereignshift.com. Upon my return from Egypt, I am also going to be opening a mentorship program. And this is called Mystic Rising Mentorship. And everything that I said in this call and all the other calls, I am stepping up my voice, which is part of why I'm traveling to Egypt. I don't know if you know that the planet also has chakras, just like we do. Gaia herself does. And Egypt is the throat chakra. And so for a lot of us, the issue in being different, the issue in changing our business and really coming out in our business to what our true offerings are, or to be able to even state what we really do in the world, and to people who might do it differently, as the issue is in our throat chakra. Many of us have had past lives or memories, or even in this one life, of being oppressed or persecuted or killed or banished from the tribe for speaking to truth. Truth has never been popular, but the last 2,000 years, it really hasn't been popular. Truth has gotten us killed, especially of the female gender. And so Mystic Rising Mentorship is for 3 different people. Number 1, it's for mystics. Those of us that already know we be a mystic. And a mystic is just somebody who can connect to source, however you define that, and in your own way. And you know that, and you can own that. And this is for mystics who are in business, who would like to step up that voice, and they feel some of these barriers, and they want to open that into the world. So this is for mystics in business, mystics who already know. But this is also for what I call in the closet mystics. For people who have not yet come out to the world, that it almost makes you tingly, but you know you're different, but you don't feel comfortable with that, but you want to. So this Mystic Rising Mentorship is for also mystics in the closet. It's also for waking up mystics. Those of you that you're just getting a taste and you want so much more. And you don't know what it's called and you don't know, but you just know. And you're very eager and it's a hell yes. So waking up mystics. So Mystic Rising Mentorship. begins May 1st. We're going to begin with a Beltane portal, and it is a 9-month mentorship that includes Pilgrim Within. So on June 1st is my 7-month virtual spiritual pilgrimage that you are all invited to. I could not be more excited. We use the 7 months to dive deeply into the temples of the chakras within us. We gather live with live classes every full moon and new moon. There's this beautiful online portal with a pilgrimage planner and so many activities that guide you through the entire 7 months, making it very alive and very uniquely your own pilgrimage. The Mystic Rising Mentorship is 9 months that encapsulates, that holds Pilgrim Within. So with my Mystic Mentorship program, we will be going through Pilgrim Within very personally and privately. These are opportunities for you to shift in your business, to shift spiritually, to shift the way that you treat yourself, to shift huge issues and subjects in your life that you are fatigued of having and you know that they can change. We are in 2020, you guys. This is a manifestation year. This is a year of ascension. This is a year where we have an opportunity, and we also have a desperate need for this rising and for this awakening. That is why I'm going to Egypt. For myself. I just got really loud. Sorry about that. For myself, so that I am connected and sourced and plugged in and nourished, and so that I can also do that with others as well. And I look forward to this year ahead. TheSovereignShift.com starts April 1st. Check it out. Mystic Rising Mentorship. I actually don't have any information out yet for that. But if you have listened to this and you are interested, please just send me a direct message and I will put you on the list to reach out to. This is going to be so powerful. I can barely talk about it. Okay. And then Pilgrim Within, which starts June the 1st, 7-month virtual spiritual pilgrimage. And also, ShaeBryantWellness.com has some of this information. I'm really going to be kicking it up this year. I'd love to have you involved if you feel this need to rise and to vocalize, right? We need to connect and then express. Thank you for doing the work on yourself and doing it in a different way. Changing this world via love. Becoming the living, embodied example of love. I am profoundly grateful. And I look forward, upon my return from Egypt, the last week of March, to returning here to the I Am Sovereign Shae show. Sending immense love and gratitude to you guys. Aloha.